Dear students, in the previous class we have discussed already about Newton's first law of motion and Newton's second law of motion. So the Newton's first law of motion tells us that an object continues to be in the state of rest, that means velocity equal to 0, or in the state of uniform motion, or in the state of uniform motion until an external force acts on it. That means in this first case, sum of external forces equal to 0. That means sigma fx equal to 0, sigma fy equal to 0, and sigma fz equal to 0. So these are called as conditions of equilibrium. We can apply these conditions when the object is at rest or when the object is moving with a constant velocity. In a problem, if we mentioned that if the object is at rest, immediately we can apply these conditions of equilibrium. What are the conditions of equilibrium? Sigma fx equal to 0, sigma fy equal to 0, sigma fz equal to 0, because an equilibrium condition satisfies Newton's first law of motion. And second law, Newton's second law is nothing but a net force acting on the object causes the object to accelerate, and that acceleration is in the same direction as the net force applied on it. So that is summation of forces. Because of the application of force, the body is said to be accelerated. That means sigma F equal to ma. See here, F can be written in component form because F is a vector. So F can be written as Fx into I cap plus Fy into j cap plus Fz into k cap is simply equal to mass into acceleration. Acceleration is also a vector quantity. We can write like this: Axi plus Ayj plus Azk. Okay, now I am simply writing it as Fx into I plus Fy into j plus Fz into k is equal to multiplying mass into inside. So max into I cap plus may into j cap plus maz into k cap. So comparing the x components, fx, here I is nothing but x component. So fx equal to max. Comparing the j components, y component, here fy is nothing but simply which is equal to may. And simply comparing z components, so fz is equal to maz. So these are the conditions in which the particle is in motion. So conditions of motion. If sigma fx equal to 0, sigma fy equal to 0, sigma fz equal to 0, these are said to be conditions of equilibrium. We can apply these conditions when the object is at rest or object is moving with uniform motion. Okay, we can apply these three conditions, that is fx equal to max, that is if the x component of force, sum of x component of force, here force is acting along x axis, so the body can accelerate along x axis, so fx equal to max. Similarly here the force is acting along y axis, fy, so because of this force the body can be accelerated in y direction, so fy equal to may. Similarly fz equal to maz. These three conditions are said to be conditions of motion. These three conditions are said to be conditions of equilibrium. Go. Mass and weight. We are going to discuss about mass and weight here. Mass is the amount of substance. Mass is the amount of substance which is same everywhere. Same everywhere means the mass of the object on the earth. If the mass of the object on the earth, for example 1 kg, if this mass is taken to moon, still the mass of the object is same, again 1 kg on moon also. So mass is same everywhere. If we take the mass away to Pluto or Mars or moon, anywhere the mass is same, which is always 1 kg, 1 kg. If 1 kg object is there on the earth and it is taken onto moon, again the mass is 1 kg. If it is taken onto Mars, again mass of the object is still same and which is equal to 1 kg. And now here we are going to discuss about weight. Weight is different. Weight is a vector quantity. Weight is a vector quantity. And we know mass is nothing but mass is a scalar quantity. Weight is a vector quantity which is defined as gravitational force. Gravitational force or simply force exerted by earth on object. Force exerted by earth on object is called as the gravitational force. The gravitational force is equal to weight. I discussed already. Gravitational force which is equal to weight of the object. Weight of the object is nothing but mass times acceleration. Here acceleration due to earth is nothing but acceleration due to gravity. So simply weight equal to m into g. Weight equal to m into g. Weight is a vector quantity because weight is the force exerted by earth on object. So here weight equal to m into g. So for 1 kg mass, weight on earth. So weight equal to m into g. So m equal to 1 kg and g, acceleration due to gravity on surface of earth, is approximately equal to 9.81 meter per second square. Okay, so weight on earth equal to 1 into 9.81 is nothing but 9.81, and kg meter per second square is nothing but newtons. So weight of the 1 kg mass on earth equal to 9.81 newtons. So same mass for 1 kg mass, I am going to find out weight on moon. We know that g on moon surface, acceleration due to gravity on moon surface is approximately 1/6 of acceleration due to gravity on earth surface. So g equal to simply 1.67 meter per second square approximately. On the surface of moon, acceleration due to gravity g equal to 1.67 meter per second square. So now weight on the moon equal to m into g. What is the mass of the object here? 1 kg into acceleration due to gravity on moon surface is nothing but 1.67 meter per second square. That is 1 into 1.67 is nothing but 1.67 kg meter per second square. Kg meter per second square is nothing but newtons. So weight of the object on moon equal to 1.67 newtons. Weight of the object on earth equal to 9.81 newtons. So from these two, mass is same everywhere. Mass of the object on earth equal to 1 kg. Mass of the object on moon equal to 1 kg. Mass is same everywhere, but weight is different. Weight depends on acceleration due to gravity. Weight of the object on surface of earth equal to 9.81 newtons and weight of the object on moon surface equal to 1.67 newtons. Weight is not same everywhere, but mass is same everywhere. Weight depends on acceleration due to gravity on the respective planet. Now our next topic is linear momentum. Momentum is nothing but mass in motion. Mass in motion is called momentum. Linear momentum. So momentum is a vector quantity. Linear momentum is a vector quantity, which means it has both magnitude and direction. So here linear momentum is indicated with P. I'm writing over P bar. That means P is a vector quantity. So momentum can be defined as mass in motion. That is mass times velocity. M into V is nothing but momentum. Okay. So in Newton's second law of motion, momentum can be expressed as, we know from Newton's second law, F equal to ma. So F equal to m into acceleration is nothing but rate of change of velocity. Rate of change of velocity. So F equal to, simply when this scalar term mass is taken into inside, d by dt of m into v. Mass times velocity is nothing but momentum. So F equal to simply d by dt of mass times velocity is nothing but momentum. Force F equal to rate of change of momentum. Okay. Net force acting on the object equal to rate of change of momentum. F equal to dp by dt, which is also equal to ma. Okay. So momentum is a vector quantity and its SI units are, SI units are, for mass the SI units are kilograms and velocity the SI units are meter per second. So SI units of momentum are nothing but kilogram meter per second. And from Newton's second law of motion, net force acting on the object can be written as rate of change of momentum. F equal to rate of change of momentum. Impulse. Impulse is nothing but a large force acting on the object for short interval of time. Short interval of time. For example, when you throw a object onto the wall with large amount of force, this object go and interact with the wall for only few seconds, a very small interval of time, and after that the ball will rebound. Okay, the ball will rebound. That is the large amount of force acting on the object. So when this ball go and hit the wall, ball exerts some force on the wall, large amount of force on the wall. That is for short interval of time. Large amount of force acting for short interval of time is called as the impulse. So see here, we know F equal to delta P by delta T. Change in momentum by time interval. Force equal to change in momentum by time interval. Just now we have derived it. So here F into, on cross multiplying, F into delta T equal to delta P. Okay. This large amount of force acting for short interval of time is called as impulse J. Here J is nothing but impulse. Impulse. Okay. So J is a, impulse is a vector quantity. Impulse is a vector quantity. And SI system of units are, SI units are either force into delta T is nothing but Newton into second. SI units are Newton into seconds. Or the impulse has the units same as momentum. So momentum units are nothing but kg meter per second. Impulse and momentum will have same set of units or same set of dimensions. Here the impulse units are nothing but from this Newton into second, units of impulse, SI units of impulse are Newton second or kg meter per second. Okay, so F equal to F delta T equal to, so simply impulse is the change in momentum. Change in momentum. Right? Okay. So J is equal to F delta T, that is equal to change in momentum. Change in momentum is nothing but final momentum minus initial momentum. If the object of mass m is initially moving with a velocity of v1, after application of some force on the object at a later time, if the object is moving with a speed of v2, so initial momentum p1 equal to mv1 and final momentum p2 equal to, in this case, mv2. p2 is nothing but final momentum after some time, and p1 is nothing but initial momentum. Okay, so impulse J is equal to F delta T is equal to final momentum minus initial momentum. What is final momentum? mv2 minus mv1, which is also can be written as J is equal to F delta T. F delta T is equal to m into v2 minus v1. M into v2 minus v1. Impulse J equal to F delta T equal to m into v2 minus v1, or simply impulse J equal to F delta T equal to change in momentum, that is p2 minus p1. We know the formula for impulse J is equal to F delta T, that is equal to simply change in momentum delta P. Okay, if I take force versus time graph, FT graph, if I take force versus time graph, if the force versus time graph looks like this, on y-axis what is there? Force is there. Force. On x-axis what is there? Time is there. So from here to 0 to t. So here to here is nothing but time interval delta t. So this curve is having length equal to f and breadth equal to delta t. So area under FT curve. Area under FT curve is nothing but this is the area. This is the area. Area under this curve. Area under FT curve is nothing but, area is nothing but length into breadth. So here let length is force and breadth is delta t. So F delta t. So F delta t is nothing but what? F into delta t is nothing but simply delta p. So therefore area under FT curve gives us change in momentum. Change in momentum of the object. Okay, so this is all about impulse and momentum theorem. Area under FT curve gives us change in momentum. This is also known as impulse momentum theorem. Impulse momentum theorem. Impulse on the object is nothing but simply change in momentum of the object. Right. Here the question is a bullet of mass 0.04 kg. Mass of the bullet equal to 0.04 kilograms. Moving with a speed of, initial speed V0 equal to 90 meter per second. Bullet is initially moving with a speed of 90 meter per second. Enters a heavy wooden block and is stopped after a distance of 60 centimeters. See here, let us consider this is a large wooden block and bullet is moving like this. Mass of the bullet is m and its initial velocity equal to 90 meter per second. When this bullet when this bullet enters into the wooden block, when this bullet enters into the wooden block, this wooden block opposes the motion of the bullet. And after covering some distance, after covering 60 centimeters inside the wooden block, the bullet finally comes to rest. The bullet finally comes to rest. That is, final velocity of the bullet equal to 0. Initial velocity is 90 meter per second and final velocity of the bullet equal to 0 meter per second. Why the bullet is coming to rest? Because of resistive force or opposing force exerted by wooden block on the bullet. So we need to find out the resistive force or opposing force on the bullet. Force equal to, we know force equal to mass into acceleration. Your mass is given m equal to 0.04 grams, but we don't know acceleration directly. But we know v0 equal to 90 meter per second and final velocity of the bullet is 0 meter per second and it covers a distance of 60 centimeters inside the wooden block. So 60 centimeters is nothing but 60. Centi is nothing but 10 power minus 2 meters. 60 centimeters equal to 60 into 10 power minus 2 meters. We know V0, V and delta x. We need to find out acceleration here. From third equation of motion, V square minus V0 square equal to 2a into delta x. Okay. We know V equal to 0 minus V0 square is nothing but 90 square equal to 2 into acceleration A into 60 into 10 to the power of minus 2. Okay. So minus 90 square is nothing but 90 into 90 divided by 2 into 60 into 10 to the power of minus 2 is nothing but acceleration. From this we can find out the acceleration. Okay, we will get the acceleration from this equation A. So substitute back that acceleration in this equation. Mass equal to 0.04 and acceleration is nothing but into minus of 9 into 9 is nothing but 8000, 90 into 90 is nothing but 8100 divided by 2 into 60 into 10 to the power of minus 2 is nothing but 1.2. So the force equal to F equal to minus 0.04 into 8100 divided by 2 newtons. In this way we can get the answer. Okay.